Title: The Weight of Spores. I remember that day vividly. The sun was setting, and the golden rays danced over the faces of my family like some cruel spotlight. My father's laughter echoed through the air, slicing any lingering trace of my dignity. A mycologist researching ghosts? What's next? A study on the phantoms of old cheese? His contempt flowed through the room, a poison that sent everyone into fits of laughter. My mother's eyes glimmered with disappointment, and my siblings shared glances filled with scorn. "You'll disgrace us," they said. "You'll lose your mind." That was years ago, before the world twisted into something darker, before I became the pariah turned prophet, before the horrifying truth of my obsession unfurled itself in ways I could never have anticipated. I was publicly shamed after being falsely accused of contaminating a research lab, my career, my identity, obliterated in one swift motion. But rather than surrender to despair, I dove headfirst into the rejection. I sought refuge in the decaying shadows of forgotten urban ruins, driven by an insatiable need to explore fungal spores with a mind-altering grip on human perception. They mocked me, of course, branding my path as a descent into madness. "Fungal hauntings," they jeer, shaking their heads as if I were the joke of a cosmic clown. But I persisted, my obsession morphing into a relentless pursuit. I cataloged spore-induced hallucinations, the way they erased the boundaries of identity, how they twisted minds like roots snaking through cracked earth. I learned that the truth is far scarier than fiction. Sometimes all it takes is the tiniest of spores to unravel everything. Years passed, and I emerged as a renowned expert, no longer the disgraced mycologist, but a harbinger of hidden horrors, a warning whispered in hushed tones. The knowledge I carried was a chilling crown, forged in the depths of shadowed ruins where others dared not tread. And soon enough, the world began to tremble with fear at the truths I had unearthed. It was only then that I felt the nagging urge to return home, to face the family who once derided me. As I drove down the familiar road, the scenery appeared unchanged, yet imprinted with memories of ridicule and scorn. My heart raced, a beast clawing at the sides of my chest. I parked outside our house, the place where laughter had once filled the air. "We didn't think you'd actually come back." "Why would I not?" I replied, my voice steady despite the storm in my heart. "I've brought you something to show you." I led them into the dimly lit basement, a space I had once shared with my siblings during my childhood. They followed hesitantly, exchanging glances, skepticism, and fear. I had transformed the space. It was now a makeshift laboratory filled with vials, petri dishes, and twisted fungal specimens, each one a whisper of forgotten nightmares. "What is all this?" My father's skepticism dripped into the air like poison. "Evidence," I said, standing before a glass tank housing a sinister growth of luminescent fungi. "This is Cortinarius speciosissimus, known for its mind-altering effects. It's beautiful, isn't it? But it can also drive you to madness." And just as I finished my sentence, the lights flickered. The room shuddered with an unnatural chill. The air grew thick, laced with an otherworldly heaviness. My family recoiled, their faces twisting from disbelief to something akin to horror. They had laughed at the notion of fungal hauntings, but now they could feel it, the pulsing dread echoing in their bones. "George, please," my mother stammered, backing away. "This isn't funny." But I pressed on, my heart racing with an urgency I couldn't contain. "You don't understand. The spores are reaching out, connecting to memories, to fears. They show you things you can't unsee." Suddenly, the glass tank shattered, sending shards flying. A thick black mist surged forth, swallowing the basement in darkness. Shapes emerged from the shadows, twisted figures that danced in the corners of their eyes, shadows of their own fears personified. Faces of those long forgotten, those they chose to mock, now crawled out of the void, driven by hunger and rage. "Stop it! You're scaring us!" My father yelled, his bravado crumbling like dry leaves. I watched as my family was consumed by the horrors they had dismissed for so long. The shadows whispered their names, dredging up memories of ridicule and shame, holding them in a grip that felt more real than life itself. I stood frozen at the threshold, finally comprehending the weight of their disbelief. I had survived what they could not fathom, borne the brunt of their mockery. And now they faced the consequences of their scorn. The shadows swarmed around them, and I felt the lingering warmth of vindication wash over me, mingling with the dread rising in my throat. In that moment, I understood my transformation was complete, not merely into a bearer of knowledge, but a living embodiment of the world's darkest truths. My family screamed, their voices mingling with the echoes of lost laughter, and at that moment, I realized that my return had not merely been about confronting them. It was about revealing the price of denial. As the shadows crushed my family's laughter, I stepped back into the light, my heart heavy yet liberated. There was no bitterness left, only the weight of tragic understanding. I had emerged from the depths, and while the horrors might consume those who failed to believe, I would stand as a testament to the unseen. The world beyond was listening now, trembling at the weight of truths I would carry with me forever.